Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. The Smite viewer base is ready to go. I know we paused things in the middle of a very intense, kind of moment, but we are back with Game 4, Eager versus Flashpoint. Again, we mentioned the talking points here. Zapman, almost ready for Worlds. And by the way, that is what you were seeing on your screen. Hi-Rez Expo, Smite World Championships, that is coming to you very soon, right after the holidays, January 5th through 8th. There's an opportunity for you to get your tickets by going to the website here, hi-rezexpo.com. You can enter /regionals, I believe, or at least the code word regionals as you're purchasing your ticket, and you'll get 25% off of that and be that much closer to being in the door and hanging out with Toli.
Hanging out with you as well.
Oh yeah, I guess I'll be there. I'll be doing some Paladin stuff as well. I'll be there. I'll be doing different things.
You'll be there too?
Hopefully, that's the plan.
You better be.
Yeah, that's the plan so far.
That's right. And if you're there, also digital loot pack. We've said it a lot today, but the Smite World Championship digital loot pack is available. The Chibi Hades skin. You gotta get it. We're going to make sure everyone in Smite has this skin. It is that cool. And then if you get it, they'll make more of them, right? Isn't that's the key?
I'm actually mad Divios didn't pick the Chibi Hades skin that he was actually
the one game we saw opportunity.
Hades.
That's probably why you fed that game.
That's
true.
what it. That's right.
What it
PBM.
was. Yeah, that's what it was.
You get Chibi Hades, you don't feed. Like
that's
Divios.
Right. That's right. It's too cute, man. It's too cute. But we got more to go here. We've got one more game that means everything to so many players here. Hurriwind coming in, trying to prove himself, getting kicked from Soar earlier and trying to bounce back, finding rhythm with Flashpoint, being so close, taking a game off of Eager, and then Zapman, of course. That ever-elusive trip to Worlds is right at the cusp. It's right there, and he just needs to grab it, and he is ready. I think we've talked about it behind the stage. The momentum is just seeming overwhelming right now with Eager. Do you anticipate that this is going to be able to carry them through to the next game?
I think that this is Zapman's year, as some people would like to say. But honestly, the momentum is definitely there for Eager. They've been winning all these games. Even the game that they lost specifically, they've been making the plays here and there. So I feel like it's very important for a Flashpoint to disrupt the momentum from TheBest, from djpernicus.
If I'm Eager, I want to go into an aggressive early game comp. I want to get Flashpoint down early and just crush their morale in this close or set closing game and just try to get it over with quick, go for the throat.
Something we haven't really seen was the fact that Aror invade the red maybe at level 1 right off the bat, right? With the Wrath, sometimes we'll see obviously djpernicus and Divios applying the pressure on the speed, but maybe it's time for Eager to close this one out with some red buff pressure.
Possibly. I mean, you do have the option to go a Curse at level 1. Shadowq's been going Hog or Shell, not really the Heavenly or the Sprint, excuse me. So that is an option they could take. Maybe they do have other cheese strats, so to speak, for lack of a better term.
These all seem like very aggressive strategies to go, but that's the way you think that it should work. I mean, obviously the kind of conversation we had before we left is that Eager have toned down that aggressiveness. They've played more patiently. This seems like a risky strategy. Do you really think this is something they pull now, this Eager?
You can play that style and still be calculated. You can, be aggressive early and just maintain your lead. I think in the past you would see Eager kind of, play with fire a bit too much. They would get the lead and then they would dive towers and just dive for kills and go for kill after kill. This version is just more objective based with their early game.
You have to know when to force the issue. Sometimes it's not always about wanting to get the gold furies, despite how tempting it might be. Luck be a damsel sometimes, but you gotta take what you can get out of it.
You gotta force the issue out.
Is this the first game Janus was picked? I don't know if it has been banned every game, but I don't believe.
It's been banned a few times in the secondary banning phases, but I believe, at least for today even, that this is the first time we see Janus, which is very surprising considering how much mobility he provides.
Out of Hurriwind as well, because he is not known to play Janus at all, more known for the Ryzen, which hasn't been too successful the past few games. So I'm interested to see how he goes with this Janus pick.
This could be an idea for Flashpoint where they want to invade aggressively onto Eager's jungle and rely on those portals to be able to get out of danger.
Well, off stream, we were talking about how the problem that Eager is posing to Flashpoint is they are forcing numbers advantage on those buffs. Now with 2 global ultimates in the Janus and the Ratatoskr, you have the option to force the numbers for yourself and try to outnumber and look for picks on Aurora rotating early to try to get those rotations.
Especially if you can hit those long distance ultimates, that can turn a game on its head, honestly. Even if it doesn't kill you, you have to leave the team fight.
And also, the last game we saw Eager ban out the Ravana, I believe, and the Vamana from Benji, so they elected top 3 pick it this time and get him on a god he can get lane pressure on.
And you do see, obviously, Sobek, Serqet, and Ra locked in for Team Eager, whereas Flashpoint respond with the Janus, the Ratatoskr, ideally on Homiefe. They're looking at a good game on it to start. Looking to get that going again. Ravana will be selected, most likely going to the solo lane for Benji. But looking at it here, there is that still, that's what I was going to mention, the Athena. That was very successful. They take away the global pressure that Eager could have responded with.
Yeah,
on the
that's
Janus
interesting
rotations.
to me because by Flashpoint banning the Ares and the Guan, they really think the Sobek is going to Divios, and it likely is. So Eager actually has banned out the Athena from Aror, which he played very well in Game 2. So really restricting his god pool.
Especially considering the fact that Flashpoint have this next pick, they could easily lock in this Athena
That's right.
to be able to just synergize
That
so
is
well
true.
off of their double globals already. So it makes
Right.
sense as to why Eager elected to take that option away from Shadowq.
Yeah, that's 3 out of your 5 teammates just there. And if they take the Janus portal, that's like the entire team easily there on you. Eager definitely looked to say, no, we don't want that kind of aggression there. We're going to make sure you play a little bit more.
And with the Ram, you'll see a
calculated as well.
very strong mid-game lineup from Flashpoint. Once this Janus and Rat get CDR, they'll be everywhere across the map. So I think Eager really needs to try to pick their poison here. Are they going to try to snowball early? Are they going to try to match the mid-game? Or are they going for a late-game comp?
Yeah, we definitely saw how comfortable and aggressive Zap was in the late game with the Ram, and Vetium was just so solid and standard, I would say. He didn't have any too flashy plays with the Ram in the games that he played it with, but definitely doing a good job just following up off of his teammates' aggression. So I want to see what support Flashpoint lock-in lasts to allow Vetium the space control he really needs. We haven't really seen Kumba Karna or
I was thinking
Ymir
that
out
as
of
well.
either
That's
of these
right.
teams, but now would be the time.
I don't see Shadowq going Ymir.
Wow.
The Kumba is definitely an option. Sylvanus for Aror, he's very comfortable on this god. I believe he did play against Luminosity in Group B, and he played very well with it. Not a pick they go to that often, but the double healing out of Eager should be very formidable.
And it seemed like they liked that kind of sustained lineup going forward. And Sylvanus, although he doesn't have that, he's got the pull, right? He's got the knock up as well. He can combo off of a few of those things, not the type of super easy CC that Kumba has. Just leave him standing there for.
And the other note
Several
is
seconds.
Sylvanus and Hoi are very, very aggressive laners in the early game, so they do decide that they're going to try to snowball this game early instead of trying to match the mid to late game prowess of Flashpoint.
And Sylvanus definitely provides you a lot of lane clear just off
Yeah.
of his basic in-hands, being able to splash and Huyi ricochet off the wall. But it is
Wow.
going to be
Khepri
that
is interesting.
Khepri, which also solidifies the idea that Flashpoint wants to even be more aggressive. They have the Janus for the portals to get out, and now if that doesn't work out, they also have the Khepri revive.
And you won't see this Khepri initiating that much. They're going to try to have Homiefe and Hurriwind use their double global ultimates to start fights. Shadowq is going to rotate a little bit later, and if his teammates are in trouble, he's going to alt them out, and they're just going to have a very dive-heavy comp. And of course, the Ram to clean up those kills as well from distance.
You mentioned Homiefe, you mentioned Hurriwind. Hurriwind left Soar, Homiefe, a buddy, a friend, he left as well. They've got great synergy as a jungle mid combo. Do you think this could be, especially with that initiation tack that you mentioned, PBM, this could be potentially the way they get themselves back in this set?
They do have the ability for the two of them to just single, or, as a combo, to just carry this game by themselves. It'll depend on how Eager plays this level 1 and to see if they go for any invades on the red, the speed, wherever.
Hurriwind wants to prove himself. Zapman, he wants to make it a Worlds. He's one game away. Tom, Kevin, call the action.
Well, one more time we see the Bastet ban, and one more time we see the Ra get through, and one more time Eager are going into game looking happy as a pig in mud.
How are you feeling right now, Tom? Those were some deep, sharp shots.
I'm
firing away before we even get into the game.
Listen, I'm deeply upset because Flashpoint is a strong team, and while I'm a broadcaster, even before I like to look at the league from a distance. But every now and then I get caught up in kind of rooting for a squad. And Homiefe and Hurriwind are a story that I kind of root for. I love the fact that these guys are emotional and wear their heart on the sleeve. I asked Hurriwind specifically coming into this, I said, hey, is this about proving people wrong, expecting no, of course not, I'm here to play with my team? He said, hell yes it is. If I said anything else, who would I be? I asked him, you playing for the name on the front or the back of the jersey? He said the back. I want to prove that I'm the man. And right now he's doing anything but. And I think that's an issue. It's the picks and ban phase for Flashpoint, this entire set, have really just got me in a tizzy.
Well, it is game 4 right now, and Eager are on one game. I mean, Zapman has tried since 2012 to be the best in Smite. And now it's finally close to his chance. He's one game away from making his first Smite World Championship.
He's tried to be...
Don't you dare do that to me?
The best is on
I'm
Dignitas.
the one who makes that joke. Well, now he's on Eager, and he's playing out of his mind. Once again, though, awkward start here. This time, it's Flashpoint looking for the gank.
They got the tail whip as well. There's a nice zigzag, 1-on-1, or 2-on-2 rather, at level 1. djpernicus totally fine. Homiefe and his opposing jungle and Divios are in trouble.
And again, a different start coming out from Eager. They control the mid-harpies on the left-hand side. Zapman's, his whole goal here is just to stay alive in this lane. Don't do anything dumb. Aror rotates, starts clearing, and this is, again, Eager having this extra man advantage. Game 4 has started exactly how Game 3 started, and it went very well for Eager last time, and again, looking good.
You know, it's interesting here because we sort of talked about it. I mentioned the root beer tapper, the whack-a-mole situation where Eager keeps you across the map, right? And that usually happens a little bit later. Right there, we see it at level 1. A control of the jungler on the right side leaves Hurriwind by himself, and that allows Eager to succeed.
One thing that happened there, though, was Hurriwind actually managed to get both mid-harpies on the right-hand side with that unstable vortex. So DJ only level 1. I believe he hit level 2 off of that last creep. But that is going to slow down Eager's pace here, and they're setting up for this invade. They have the Wrath on Divios, but he's too far pushed back, and Flashpoint doing a much better job, this game of responding to Eager's kind of early game awkwardness as the best way to describe it.
Just wonderful scissor collapse coming out from Flashpoint. 2 come from the right, 2 come from the left. They completely surround the opposition. And honestly, Auror's dead there if DJ doesn't land the perfect Cobra's Kiss. So Eager gets out of trouble because DJ gets the correct ability at level 2. And they're able to skate out of there, but that was an excellent response from Flashpoint. I'm already seeing a better look.
And DJ has missed so much experience in the waves that he typically gets because of this start that he's very far behind right now. He's still not even level 3. Homiefe should be hitting 4 soon, but Homiefe trying to look for a counter invade on the right-hand side. Divios is going to snatch it up, and so Homie misses the opportunity to clear his back RPs and get that lead.
With that said, he's still 100 gold up, so, you know, you win some, you lose some, right? A little bit here and there.
I mean, that's Eager's game plan. Well, it's not really. It's we win a little bit and we lose nothing. That's kind of Eager's. I mean, Eager's game plan has just been bleed the opponent dry once we get a lead. And honestly, impose our will on our opponents. I mean, we've talked about how they rotate teams across the map based on their positioning, very good at disengaging. But I mean, just looking at the solo lane, Game 1, TP is picked up by Benji because guess what? That makes sense. That's the solo lane meta. And then Divios runs Wrath every single game, and now Benji is doing the exact same. Eager is imposing their way of play style onto their opponents, and Flashpoint probably don't typically run with this Wrath that they have to get early game to stop invades.
And this is something that, Zapman and TheBest have been doing since 2012. Back on Dignitas, when they were fantastically superior, Zeus was first pick, first ban, and they said, you know what? No, and they figured out how to play against it. Then we saw Khepri come and go, and they beat that with Sobek a Wheelish. We've seen and that more recently on Eager, we've seen so many metas be countered and played around by the guys here. And like you said, Eager don't play the meta. They play against the grain, and they force you to play their own style. Otherwise, they're going to stick on you like Velcro, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Right now, this game, though, dead even. And again, Hurriwind stealing away those mid-harpies that he probably shouldn't have gone. If those get stolen, DJ's level 3, they probably commit to stealing that speed buff and things spiral out of control. That's neither here nor there. You never know what's going to happen. And right now you can see Shadowq specifically doing a much better job of being with Hurriwind and Homiefe and making sure that Eager can't do what they've been doing the past 2 games where they just steal everything and no one answers back. This time they're putting themselves in positions to defend their buffs. And again, this blue buff going to be worked on by Eager, ambushed down by djpernicus. And so they're going to have to play this safe, but there's the Wrath, and now it's can they disengage?
Yeah, Auror's going to get jumped on. There's the mid laner as well. Ultimate coming out of the support. Still nothing on the board just yet, so both teams vying for first blood. Jumping over the top is Benji. The best is the target. He's not going to get out of there. Benji gets the kill. Mid laner goes down. Auror likely to fall next. There he goes. Double kill for the solo laner. Divios in trouble as well. Hurriwind hanging on by the skin of his teeth, and it's good enough because he's Janus. Divios can't catch up. 2-0 in the first engagement of the game. Flashpoint up. There you go.
Flashpoint finally figured out how to stop Eager invading. And guess what? It's globals. We talked about it earlier. It's mobility. They have this Janus. They have this Ratatoskr now. If Eager look to invade, well, now you have ultimates that can collapse where you need to be to defend your buffs. And despite, honestly, a great ultimate from Aror, Flashpoint still win that fight. They're too mobile for Eager to lock down, having not really picked up their boots on all characters just yet.
The entire set, the entire split, excuse me, looking back to the LAN stage, even the online stage maybe less so. Eager has been successful because of this whack-a-mole situation that we keep talking about, like lighting fires across the map, right? And just now, Flashpoint pick up Janus, one of Hurriwind's better gods. I'm very happy about this pickup by Janus, or this Janus pickup by Flashpoint. But I'm concerned about the raw pick, and I'm concerned that it might be too late in the series.
It's also, Eager's team comp is lots of circles and lots of healing, right? The ultimate coming out of not only Aror, but Zapman as well, the best healing circle, Sobek ultimate. There's a lot of just AoE damage that's going to happen in these fights. And then you have the Wisps coming out from Sylvanus and the raw heal. And so it is going to be hard. When Flashpoint engage, they need to go all in. Aror, though, finding 2 in the lineup. Best gets 1, but it's saved by the Khepri ultimate, and Vetium does manage to answer back with his rotation.
Nice little grab onto Vetium. Zap's coming over the top. Vetium's going all the way to the sky. He's going to be coming down, and there's nice little grab. Stuck away from the portal. Body blocked. Can't make it through. Aror smacks him down before he gets to the tunnel.
Oh, my God. So unfortunate. Vetium, I mean, that's such a great play. The Janus ult, he drops early. His roll comes up a second later, but he just rolls against the wall, and I think he actually clipped a couple of the players from Eager, which put him out of position. Homiefe, though, back in action here, trying to go for a gank onto the Raw. And he gets it.
Nice little play coming out from Homiefe to turn things up. 4-2 already. Very active game in juxtaposition to some of the other matches that we've had this afternoon. We saw Orbit and Obey bring us to 15 minutes before we got a first blood. Flashpoint and Eager, on the other hand, are willing to fight before they come out of picks and bans. But as per the admins, all of our fighting is limited in-game.
Hey, you know, I still hold true that I think that old school Allegiance, not the current one, would beat anyone in a brawl next to... And Energy was probably
I'm taking
second.
Energy. Raffer is kind of crazier than anybody else. Kind of like this play coming out from Homiefe. Let's take a little turn back on the pages and see how the jungler took care of the mid laner. Well, I hear it.
Just drops right down. And so it wasn't so much the play. It was pretty standard. Ratatoskr ults you. The Janus is there to clean up.
Is there.
What happened was that fight in the left-hand side goes the way of Eager. Everyone backs off except for TheBest, who stays. It's called the Zapman syndrome. One more wave.
One more wave.
And then Homiefe obviously had backed early in that engagement. And so while Eager were dealing with Vetium as he was up in the sky, he was able to heal up off the fountain, come back in, and use that ult to close the gap when Best looked for more farm.
So, like I was saying, I mean, I've sort of, you know, I've attacked the lack of raw ban enough, but here I want to be happy about something for Flashpoint. The Janus selection. This works so well with Hurriwind. It's not even funny. Like I said, Hurriwind, the jungle mid synergy between Hurriwind and Homiefe is almost backwards compared to most compositions. Hurriwind likes to set up for Homiefe. Here, Homiefe can go a little bit deeper than normal and get saved out by Hurriwind. And Hurriwind has a problem with positioning, something that Ryzen isn't really nice about, because you got to be dangerous with it. And Janus is sort of forgiving about that.
Very safe.
And that comes from Hurriwind himself. He goes, look, I like to push the boundaries. I like to stand a little bit too aggressive. And you can do that with Janus.
For me, the biggest things just comes down to Flashpoint have a much better chase potential. So when they do rotate over to these things, whether it's with or without their ultimates, at the very least, they should be able to collapse, because Eager are focused on, all right, let's poke you until you respond and then back off. It's going to be a lot harder now. Again, Vetium's back on that ROM, can find those snipes. But then the Janus ultimate, along with Ratatoskr ultimate, it's going to be very hard for Eager to get clean disengages like they have been against the previous compositions that Flashpoint had drafted.
That's a really good point. Eager, we celebrated Eager's ability to disengage and sort of get out of jail. And Flashpoint just aren't going to give him the key this time around. So I think overall this mid selection, and you know, I was looking through some of the comments on Twitter and some of the people here. Not a lot of people agree with me on the Ryzen, but I think a lot of people can agree that the Janus already looks better.
It does, and this is honestly one of Hurriwind's better gods now. Going back to DreamHack, I think it was, I'm trying to remember whether it was his Raijin was not that good, and it was the Janus who was good for that?
Yes.
I could have, okay, and it was that. And that's the god that when he faced up against Energy, he looked the best at. Having that ability to fluidly move in and out of fights while also assisting in your team. And I mean, I know it didn't go that well. Vetium still got picked off, but I loved the idea of it where You send that ultimate over. All right, Vetium's in a bad spot. Now he's going to get out. And it was more on Vetium messing it up than it was Hurriwind. Hurriwind found the ultimate exactly where he needed to.
And I don't think Hurriwind, and this again is my personal opinion, I don't think Hurriwind is this type of hard mid lane carry like we see some of the other characters. Best is
body blocked by
trouble.
Aror, but still gonna line up and finds two.
Homiefe just answers back. Zapman, however, shows up, and we've seen this twice. Great
Beautiful.
target selection. How do you stop a Khepri ultimate? By killing 2 people.
Absolutely beautiful. So Aror actually ends up body blocking the best. It ends up working out though, because the ultimate that he landed on the 2 people close up lined up best for a free double snipe. And regardless of whether he died or not, he got people low enough. And Divios also body blocked. He teleported into the Gold Fury pit and was body blocking Vetium when we saw Zapman come in and have an impact on that cleanup. Vetium couldn't close the gap, and also he could have ulted, but no one was really a target to go on.
So Best, we've seen how Flashpoint have already adjusted their strategy. Best is clearly their target, and the problem with Best is that his positioning is kind of really excellent. I think Best has very good positioning, and because of that, specifically on Ra, who can afford to stay back further than some of the other characters that you might select, you're just not going to get the opportunity to get all the way in the back. With 2 globals, all of a sudden, you drop a Janus ultimate, your entire team is behind enemy lines, and you're punching Best in the face.
And I mean, going back to game 1, we saw the same matchup, the Ra in the mid lane, and it was Benji on that Robin. And Robin's very good against immobile mages.
Yeah.
Because he's so tanky, he also has the immunity frames on his kick. His ultimate can close gaps. He's very good at sticking to mages and just making their life frustrating. Sure, sometimes he gets a kill, but a lot of it's just about forcing a support to peel for him. And so Aror has to be hip to hip with this Ra a lot. On top of that, that's both their healing. And so you could see Flashpoint just kind of initiate on Best continuously, and then when Aror groups up to try and do any form of peeling, just hard burst those characters so their healing is not going to matter, because once it's down, I mean, you got to wait the cooldown. Guan Yu, sure, in the middle of a fight, it's going to be repeated, but Ra is not that same character.
And that's been Flashpoint's go-to strategy so far, which is why they've been so successful. But as I say that, you look towards the top of your screen, Eager's actually up 1,000 gold. And here they are. They're going to defend their own jungle, make sure that Flashpoint can't get too crazy. Auror's going to walk right behind Homiefe.
Can they stem the bleeding? I mean, it's really only a Gold Fury's difference right now, but that's part of the bleeding that Eager likes to do, where it's just, what can we take without giving up a thing? And so far, it's just been a bad initiation or an awkward fight where 2 people got ulted, double ulted combo by the Best and Aror that, opened up that Gold Fury for Eager. And so Flashpoint just need to make sure that's not going to happen again. Although Flashpoint looking much more like their own team. We've seen them at these mid-harpies contesting. We've seen them trying to force fights. This is the Flashpoint that we saw in groups that did so well against Soar, ended up going 2-2 with the eventual champions, who are hailed as debatably, I mean, it's really hard to call right now in North America who's the best team, but a lot of people give Soar that slight edge. Out of range.
Strange. That looks strange.
Out of
okay,
range.
Out of range? All right. I was just going to mention how accurate Aror usually is with those.
I mean, that was on point. That was definitely in the straight line that needed to happen, but just on the edge of it.
But no, I completely agree. These last 37, this last 13 minutes have been the best 13 minutes that Flashpoint have played in their 3 games that we've seen so far. This could be even better than the win, I would say.
Oh, Divios taking a lot of damage. You can see Aror trying to close the gap, pops the heals a little bit, and Fire Giant.
Homiefe's up, though. He's going to look for a target. It's going to be Divios. Lands down. Divios dashes away. Hot play from the solo lane. Knocked up, and the laser beam comes down. Not enough damage. Shadowq's dash is caught. There's the Suns. Shadowq's got nowhere to go but directly into DJ.
And again, we talked about it earlier. What do Eager have? They have circles and they have sustain. This time, circles coming in big. Aror finds that ult, and then it was a 2-man ult, perfectly lined up. Best connects both and actually tags Hurriwind in the backline as well.
Yep.
So he's not in as healthy of a spot as he would like to come into that fight and continue being a damage source for Flashpoint. After that, Zapman pops his ult over the Khepri, and so it makes it almost impossible for Flashpoint to go and try and save Shadowq when he's ulted himself and it's popped.
And look at the specific placement of where Eager decide to fight right there. So we've assessed the positives of the global ultimates coming out from Flashpoint because you can get behind Eager's front line and sort of mess with them from there. Well, Eager positioned themselves during that fight so that behind them means on top of a tier 1 tower. So you can't loop around behind them, otherwise you're taking free tower shots.
I mean, you can, but it's going to take a long time to get in a position, and that was, I mean, it started off with Flashpoint just poking Divios. I don't expect that they thought they were going to finish off a pretty tanky Sobek at this point, but just trying to force his ult, they got it, but then kind of just baited into that small corridor, again, with Best and Aror, and that's twice now, both in the same spots on the opposite side of mid-Harpies, those bottom points closer to the Eager's tower, where they've got 2-man knocked up by Aror Sylvanus, straight into Best, lining them up perfectly, and that's going to continue to happen. It's very hard to purify a Sylvanus ult because it's so quick, and it's just kind of this instant knock-up. When Bacchus wants to flop, you know he wants to flop. You could see it coming.
And it's the second time we saw them fight in that specific spot, which is why I bring it up by design. If you see that fight happen anywhere else, Janus ultimate goes through, all the players go through the tunnel, and you're able just to provide the flank. But the flank is on a tower, so not going to happen. Flashpoint starting the Gold Fury here.
They've got it to half, and Auror's just been forcing them to reset repeatedly, but Flashpoint don't want to give this up. Benji's teleport was canceled. A pluck onto Aror, and there's the Janus ult burned very early, and again, the double sustain from Eager, this is not going to be an issue for them. Again, Vetium's pulling the Gold Fury. Now Eager has grouped as 5, and this isn't going to be, I'm not sure if Flashpoint were baiting a fight or not, but Eager have not taken the bait. It looks like they actually want to be the ones to engage.
Aror gets the grab. He's flipped up again. Ultimate for Khepri is used on himself, but Hurriwind needs it on the back end. Aror picks up the kill on a Shadow. You heard Kevin. The poison's all around. Go up to the sky goes Ram, trying to find the shots. Grouped up, still can't find him. Vetium's in trouble. Zapman's on his last limbs, but his team provides the help. Benji can't get through either. Zapman gets it down. 8 kills for Eager.
Flashpoint don't get 1 kill in that fight. 3 members low. The double healing coming out from this composition, and also we saw the ultimate from djpernicus go onto the Khepri. I don't know how in the world Shadowq got that revive off onto himself. Absolutely no idea, but at the very least, he explodes because he stayed alive for that extra little bit with the Serqet ult on top of him. And Homiefe forced out of the fight. I mean, if Homiefe is in there, we saw 3 players get very low. Ratatoskr excels in those situations. A lot of people grouped up. Flurry of acorns and a spin as well. I mean, it just does so much AoE damage.
That was, honestly, that was just a choke fight for Flashpoint. I mean, there were 3 members of Eager grouped up. Vetium can't hit it at all. And Vetium has been 95% accurate the whole series. Can't hit the broadside of a barn in this fight. Then you see Homiefe completely miss his ult as well. Flashpoint, I mean, the last 2 games, they're looking shook right now. Vetium has played this series a lot better. Homiefe has been quiet, but we haven't seen him miss that often. And that team fight, that wasn't Eager's to win. Flashpoint just dropped the ball and let it roll down the alley.
I mean, Eager could have still won that fight, but it wouldn't have been this massive 3-for-0 unanswered.
Exactly.
There was so many players that were low that should have been picked up, and again, it comes down to Eager having not only the double sustain, but also phenomenal body blocks. I mean, everyone there was protecting Zap. No one was in a position to find him because they had to cycle around 4 moving players. It just got so hectic that it's impossible to really rely on yourself to clean that up. But if Homiefe doesn't get hit with that Serqet ult after it pops onto Shadowq, he excels when they're all body blocking. He wants them to group up so they all get hit.
So that's actually an interesting point. Zapman taking 1-on-2. Homiefe forced away. Zapman hanging out in the suns. He won't get many kills, but he'll get a tan. DJ over there in the mid lane. Speaking to Eager specifically, they actually think about body blocking and the size of their models. So the fact that Aror and Divios are on 2 very fat characters is not a mistake. They actually prioritize, they actually, not in every single composition, but this is something that they actually think about. They say, hey, we're going to have to protect Zap a little bit more in this composition. Best has no escapes, so we can provide thicker characters that are harder to walk around.
And Aror and Best are just sitting at the edge of this tower 2v1 right now. No fear of Shadowq plucking them under, just that double sustain going to keep them alive. And here it comes. We talked about the Ratatoskr earlier on the Raw. Now it's going to make Sylvanus even more effective. And I wouldn't be surprised to see a Lotus Crown picked up by Aror or Best.
Auror's going to go ahead, grab and drop the ultimate. Shadowq should be fine. And here comes Zapman. Not going to find the flash play, but instead look for the tower. A couple of basics. A DJ coming around for the flank. He's called off. No, he's called back on.
He really just needs to show himself. I mean, he doesn't even need to do anything amazing. If he shows himself, it makes Flashpoint have to worry about 2 angles. It makes it much harder to defend against this push. And Homiefe did notice it. You can start to see them kind of switch around, but here's Divios from the back as well.
And DJ's gonna wrap Homiefe in trouble. Everybody else jumping forward. Hurriwind unleashes the ultimate pretty much to no avail. DJ in trouble. Benji's gonna look at him, but he gets ulted instead. There on the backside comes Homiefe.
Vetium's gotta
looking
get
for the
this.
target. It's gonna be Divios and DJ. They've grouped up. Down come the Suns. One goes down, it's DJ. Divios is likely to be next, but Zapman takes down Homie first.
He stays alive, and now Benji pulled back in. It's going to be a 2-for-1 in favor of Eager, playing around their own mobility. You saw DJ so much pressure onto him, and yeah, they got the kill eventually, but it put Benji in such a bad spot. Same with Homiefe, and they're going to take that 2-for-1 trade every single day. Free tier 1, no one's going to be able to stop it, and the rest of Flashpoint were forced back to spawn, and you could see Zapman trying to take advantage of that, just delaying that red buff from being picked up. Eventually he backs off though, doesn't want to play anything risky, and honestly, I think that's Eager's game plan.
Yeah.
They're not going to do anything to throw this. There is not a chance you're going to see a pluck from Divios, a jump from Zapman, an ult from Aror that is not incredibly calculated.
Eager kill you like a boa constrictor, man. They get you in their grasp and they just slowly choke you out.
I'm so excited to see this lineup.
Choke you out.
I hope this team faces Energy eventually, because Energy is not a team that's gonna let themselves get bled out. I mean, talking to Barracuda, he talks about adapting just fight you without Kwong at level 6, and you have no idea why, and he gets pressure. That, I mean, those two meeting is just two opposite metas going head to head. I don't know if we're gonna have that at Worlds. I mean, hell, we can even have it here if they both lose. I don't expect that to be the case, but that's crazy.
You never know.
And again, Flashpoint, I mean, this game is the first time that we're seeing them actually respond to Eager and not let them get this massive lead. I think last game they were 10K plus ahead at this point, and a lot of it's because those globals and Flashpoint taking fights and not allowing Eager to walk over them. The fights just haven't been going cleanly for them.
Well, they just have the tools. They honestly just have the tools. I for one, what are you giggling about over there?
They just, hey, let's push. Oh, they're responding. We're just going to back off again. Okay.
Nope.
No issue. And look at this. 5 members of Flashpoint on the left-hand side. Divios on the right with TP. You can see he's backing. And now Flashpoint, no, they need to make a move. Divios is not here.
Auror's going to be in some trouble, but he's able to heal up thanks to himself and a little bit of help from his friends.
Divios is here.
Zapman shows up as well. There's the ultimate out of the over mid laner. Aror, a lot of damage onto him. But here's DJ isolating Homiefe. Very low, and he's going to get the ultimate out of Khepri. And that'll help him out just a little bit. Divios surrounded by enemy jerseys, and he just doesn't care. He's a level 19 Sobek, 006, call him Trevlin, and he's just able to deal with anything Flashpoint is giving him.
And again, honestly, Vetium finds some nice
hey,
shots,
bud.
but it's DJ into the jungle. The portal's there, and I don't think DJ wanted to back off, but once that portal came through, he had to.
If Hurriwind's on any other character, that's a kill for djpernicus. This is why I like the Janus. Now, sure, Eager got what they came for, but they didn't get the cherry on top, which would have been the kill onto Vetium. And that right there, you give Hurriwind a guy that he has tools on. I love him on the Agni. I love him on the Janus.
Oh, Vetium.
Hurriwind just is
Does he still
better
have
when
ult?
he has
DJ
control.
doesn't have ult. But I mean, this is going to be poke damage. He's not really looking for a kill. Sure, if he RNGs something, he's going to go for it. But here's Zapman for the cleanup. Sanctuary forced. And there's the portal from Hurriwind as well. But at the very least, he just was forced back to base, and now he's Half-Life again. Tier 1 actually stands, though, not wanting to commit with Shadowq's rotation.
Yeah, Zapman's going to fall in the portal and get hit by the mid lane. He's actually going to get dragged out of it by the support. The ult's up again. And Shadowq's down.
And a great Sanctuary coming out from Zapman there, immuning all that damage after the portal hit. You could see Flashpoint looking for this all-in commit onto the Hou-Yi, but they over-invest, not expecting him to have that up or just not thinking about it.
See, I don't want to beat a dead horse, but again, that play that Serqet makes is the same play that Bastet makes. The ban just doesn't make sense here. Tier 2 tower going to be aggressed on as well. Hurriwind exits thanks to a portal. Tier 2 tower likely to fall. Divios staying in the jungle, and that be that. Eager collect 1,500 from that tower, 500 from the one before, and find themselves sitting pretty on a tuffet of 10,000 gold.
The bleeding. I mean, you need Band-Aids right now.
You know what?
Flashpoint, you need band-aids.
I'm gonna go with Tiger's famous call. That's a band-aid over a bullet wound. You need gauze, you need heavy morphine, and you need a hospital stay right now. That's 10,000 gold deficit.
I mean, here's the thing: is that Flashpoint finally has started responding to Eager. They're not just getting, they're trying not to get bled to death, but then the fights just end up going Eager's way again. They're not playing them well enough. I like the composition from Flashpoint where they're able to chase it down, but it just seems like each fight, Flashpoint, one person will make an individual mistake, and it's almost like they're trying so hard now. They're almost over-forcing. Trying to get these kills that someone overcommits, Eager again disengage, and it's the double heals. And there's not really a lot of answer on the side of Flashpoint against a Sylvanus and a Aror. You have a single curse onto a Khepri who's not really supposed to be in that front line, be looking more to kind of support the team anyway.
And they Eager balances their slow gameplay style with burst assassin damage out of djpernicus. It's working out very well. Shell is popped. Flashpoint want to get aggressive. Zapman gets grabbed and a little bit of damage is dealt elsewhere. Shadowq's knocked up, slowed down, and he gets his own ultimate activated. Homiefe's in trouble. Shadowq's already dead. Zapman gets credit for the kill onto the support. djpernicus chasing out the jungler on the right-hand side. We're going to ride along, get stunned out. Purification is good. DJ looking for the kill. Gotta wait for his cooldowns. Dashes forward. Cobra's Kiss not going to be available, but hey, tier 2 tower goes down. There's the jump on top. There's the kill for DJ. Homie's gone. Tier 2 tower's gone. Phoenix about to fall. Divios leading the charge. Zapman dealing out the basics, and the best dropping the heals. Eager get their target. They're pulling back, and they're in the neighborhood of the fire giant.
It's took them 3 long years. The game's not over yet, but it's looking like Zap's making it to Worlds. And honestly, you look at the lineup too. All these players have been playing competitively for the longest time. None of them have been at Worlds either. Yeah, sure, Zapman and Best were at the launch tournament, but it's been a long time coming for these 5 guys. Benji walks in, it's a bait. He's stunned against the wall by Zap, chasing him down.
What are you doing? He walks into
and
5 players, can't even make it through the tunnel. Divios on the crocodile gets the credit for the kill. Zapman's never made it. TheBest never made it. DJ's been on a desk. Zapman's been on a mic. But none of these players have played. You're right. And it's, well, there's still a lot of Smite to be played. We have a 15,000 gold lead, so the writing is kind of on the wall.
I think we have 1 minute and 30 left to play, Tom.
1 minute and 30? It's 27-14. Let's see if that one works out.
A minute.
You know what? I want to see how the guys are feeling. Team Eager, let's listen to you, thanks to Steel Series.
I have a lot of gold too. Let's roll this one. Oh, fuck me. Careful, Divios. Khepri. Just get out. Back. Just get out. Back. Reset. Speed is up.
Yeah, just reset. It's fine.
Yeah. We're good. Just keep your head on straight. Let's get gold while we push left.
This is why we do what we do, and this is why they do what they do. Calculation, comms, and the ability to stay headstrong in a situation that might be one of the biggest of your lives is why Eager are so damn successful. Me, I got excited.
Safety.
I started screaming.
It's safety. You heard the team. They're like, Divios, what are you doing? I mean, it wasn't like that.
They were like, Divios, excuse you.
But that's been the thing. Like, Eager are not trying to do anything crazy. All they want to do is group up and abuse their healings, abuse their circles, abuse the gold and experience lead that they fought so hard to get in 28 minutes. And even they probably had the opportunity to look for the Phoenix on the left-hand side, but as we went into the comms, they're like, hey, we got a bunch of gold to spend. They're not going to make any mistake. They're not going to rush. They're not going to be like, we need to end this second. We're 1 step away from Worlds. Instead, let's back. Let's spend our gold. Let's not have Divios dive into the Titan.
I find it so impressive, man. If something ever goes wrong, God forbid, I want these guys near me, right? Just adrenaline, nah, forget about you. They're just able to control the emotion. You listen to so many teams when they get a tier 1 tower and they're screaming like banshees on the 4th of July. Here, Eager, they're on, game point, match point for players that have never been to Worlds, that have played for 3 years, and they're sitting there talking about it like they're trying to decide Wendy's or McDonald's. It's so calm and matter of fact. It's so impressive.
Oh, and Vetium gets the Ravana survive just barely. Homie into the back line. He's knocked up.
Nice
Hurriwind
ult.
tries to make a game-changing ult, but he gets pinned down by djpernicus. Sanctuary only going to buy you so much time. Makes it to the fountain, but Shadowq falls. And Eager, they're piling in.
Double kill for the dial. Eager still here. 30 seconds plus on 2 players. Only 3 left to play defense.
Zap
Down
wants it.
come the Suns. Down
wants
comes
it.
the Titan. There's a reason Zapman went to Worlds, and it's finally true. It's because he beat Flashpoint with the rest of his squad, and they're right there. Long-time teammates. A lot of love and a lot of sweat and tears have gone into this one. And Eager are finally going to Worlds.
It happened. I mean, it was dominating too. That was our closest game, and that was not close.
Listen, it's great. I love to see these guys because, first of all, I think a lot of the teams that have made it through, I don't want to say are used to it or jaded here, but that level of passion is something different. And, you know, djpernicus likes to play the stalwart guy. He likes to be very stoic, and he is to a certain extent. But that right there, that's just pure passion. These guys are so incredibly excited to make it to Worlds, and you know, you can't help but feel a little bit happy for them.
And Flashpoint, I mean, they looked great in the groups. I don't think they played the same game style. And again, I mean, maybe this comes down to they didn't play Eager. It's one thing to watch VODs on Eager and see how they play this calculating gameplay, you know, when they dominated Group E, when they were beating the likes of Luminosity handily, and it's another thing to actually have to go against that in game. And you know these guys weren't scrimming each other beforehand, and so they really had no idea of what that pace was going to be, because this is not the Eager game plan or game style that we saw in the spring. It's definitely not what we saw in the online placements when they finished 5th, but they brought this out and no one has been able to answer. Sure, you banned the basket, but that's not even the point of it.
Either way, this one winds up in the hands of Team Eager, 3-1. We'll break it down with Evan and the crew.
Well, Zapman, he's done it. Eager and him are going to Worlds, and like we've mentioned so many times on this broadcast prior, it is Zapman's first Worlds. He has tried for 3 years to get there, and he has finally done it tonight. Guys, that was pretty impressive.
That was so impressive out of Eager. We can see and feel the emotion in the atmosphere right now. Just Aror actually was screaming like a man.
After the ground.
Yeah, he
4th of July,
tackled Zapman off of that win. Zapman, congratulations, man. Absolutely wonderful performance out of the rest of his crew. And I got to actually give it to Aror. If I was to crown somebody MVP for that
he played
last
insanely
game,
well.
the Sylvanus pulls the whole game were just on point.
I mean, we saw that fight that went down near the Gold Fury, I believe, on the left-hand side, and he just got that pull.
Right there.
It set so much up for Eager, and they were able to follow up with that. They easily got Shadowq out of the fights. That was kind of the story, right? We saw Shadowq get pulled by the Sylvanus. He got ulted up into the air. Ra followed up. TheBest did fantastically on those snipes. And PBM, I mean, this is a level of Eager that they needed to show to make it to Worlds, and they did.
Yeah, I mean, they just, to quote Tolly, they just forced the issue. They always made it hard on Flashpoint to make any plays. I think Homie and Hurry, they did what they were supposed to do. We were saying before the game, they had 100% kill participation in the game when it was relevant, I guess, before they were getting snowballed on, and it just wasn't enough. Shadowq couldn't do anything, couldn't engage, and they just got bled out.
There was no counterplay for Flashpoint because Eager's whole composition revolved around such great zoning tools between the Sylvanus ultimate, the Hui ultimate, and on top of that, every single time the Ra would follow up off of Sylvanus, the ultimate would not only hit the target that was pulled and rooted in place, but it also hit somebody in the tail end of that ultimate and forcing people out of these team fights, making it just so much easier for Eager to control the number advantages.
And the weakness of Janus normally is that he only has 1 damaging ability. He can't 100 to 0 people, and against double sustain with the Sylvanus and the Ra, they just couldn't find enough kills in the relevant 5v5 team fights, and they were losing objectives to it, and then the game just got out of hand.
Just look at those numbers there, 22,000 out of Eager. Flashpoint had no answer for that. And something I wanted to bring up was at the end of the game, when Eager pretty much had the game in the bag, we saw Eager pushing up mid for that mid Phoenix, but djpernicus had something else in mind. He wanted to get that statement kill onto Homiefe. They both had speed buff, and basically they just wanted to chase him down for that kill. That was just like the last nail in the coffin.
The cherry on top.
It was demoralizing.
Oh, yeah, that's
You talked about morale. That's right. It was kind of like a morale killer. That's why you wanted to see them go aggressive early.
Right.
It seemed like actually the mobility of Janus allowed them to kind of gank early in terms of Flashpoint, but
It just didn't lead to anything.
Yeah,
the
that's
games
right.
just led to nothing but kills, no gold furies, nothing like that.
That's right. And Eager set the tone. I love that DJ, even though taking off the Bastet, we said, what's his god pool? He played Serqet, and he went. He
played it just as well.
Yeah. Here are the brackets so you all are aware of what went down today. Just wrapping things up, we saw a great set versus Orbit and Obey. And Obey coming forward and winning 3-1, surprising maybe even themselves, and securing their spot at Worlds, as well as Eager finally going 3-1 over Flashpoint, securing Zap's first trip to the Smite World Championship. We've also got the Smite Digital Loot Pack that we've discussed before earlier on. You get the Chibi Hades skin, and you get a lot of other cool content that is based around the event coming up January 5th. We hope you all are there. We hope you check this out, 1,500 gems, and you get all this good stuff. We're pretty excited about it.
Should be Hades, man. That's all that matters.
That's
and
all
that matters is
That's all I gotta
Worlds.
say.
And Eager will be there. Zapman will be there.
And we've got Aggro standing by with the man himself. Let's listen to Zapman.
That's right. Zap, you're going to Worlds, man.
I know.
Finally. How does it feel?
I can't believe it. The only thing I could think about is the rug burn I got from Aror when he tackled me over here.
He showed it. It's bad. Yeah,
it's pretty bad.
It's pretty big, but I mean, worth it to get that bear hug from Aror onto the ground. I mean,
it's funny. We talked about it before. I was like, all right, I'm going to jump on you if we win. And then all of a sudden, he just came and tackled me, and I was like, oh.
he was expecting you to jump, and you just weren't there.
I mean, couldn't take off my earbud. That's what it was. I got caught, so I couldn't get up.
I mean, how this has been a trip in the making for you since you started playing Smite so long ago. I mean, I remember when I started getting into Smite, I was watching you on Dignitas at the launch tournament. I mean, this is going to be your first world stage since then. Is this just a relief for you to be like, okay, I'm finally going to be there?
Oh, God, it's such a relief. I mean, again, like I said before in my other interviews, I've been playing this game for 4 years, and you know, I don't know how long I'm going to be playing, and you don't get so many chances at this opportunity to make it to Worlds. So to finally make it, you know, scratch that off the bucket list, it's a dream come true. I couldn't be happier.
And if you would have told Season 1 of yourself, Season 1 Zapman, that you'd be winning games like 16-6, and it's not about the kills, it's about bleeding the opposition, it's about playing it slow and calculated, what would you have said back then?
I would say, hell no, no way. I got to have at least 10 kills a game. I got to carry every single game. But no, like, you know, again, Smite is a MOBA, and as MOBAs are, objectives are the main point of the game, the main focus of the game, and not kills. So we really took that to heart, and we build our strategies and we build our team comps and the way we play throughout the map for the objectives, and that's how we play the game.
And talk to me about this sort of team comps that you've come up with. I mean, obviously Raw been a big part of it, Best playing it every game there, I think, in that set. How this sort of composition, why does it work so well for you guys specifically?
Well, it fits our philosophy, our play style. You know, we go into games saying we're going to do X, Y, and Z, and these are the gods that help us do X, Y, and Z as efficiently as possible. So that's basically it.
And this is a team filled with, you know, people, like you said, Season 1 of you wants to be the star, wants to get all the kills, and you have that kind of potential on this team, but it isn't always that way. Do you like that flexibility about you, that you can win 16-6, but you also have that capability to win, you know, 32-25?
Definitely. I mean, people always tell me, oh, you play aggressive or someone else plays passive, but the true way to play is to play smart, right? Be opportunistic when there's an opportunity, be passive when you don't have wards, things like that. So, I mean, that's just how you got to play the game, and that's something I learned the hard way. You know, a lot of times I'm dying, I'm like, oh, I got to kill, but then I die, then the rest of my team dies or something like that. And I guess I just matured as a player in Smite where I understood it's not one way. You know, you can do it many different ways, and I think that's what I've adapted to.
Do you think that was a necessity for you to get there? I mean, it's probably not a coincidence that you had one play style, you didn't make it to Worlds and you felt like you should have been there. You change it up, and now you're going.
Yeah, I mean, I think so. I think I'm the best I've been ever. You know, just playing different styles. I can play aggressive if I need to. I can play passive if I need to, and it's just comfortable for me, and I like playing that way.
Talk to me about your duo lane with Aror, because he was a teammate of yours before, and then you go away from Aror. There's a change up there, and now you're back together, and it seems like you guys have been working so well, except whenever he tackles you after the game.
You know, it's actually a bit ironic because he was on my team Season 2, I think, and then he just left for whatever reason, and I was like, oh, I'm never going to play with that guy again. You know, and then all of a sudden Season 3.
What a jerk.
Yeah, you know, all of a sudden Season 3, here we are getting it to Worlds, and he's tackling me and all this kind of stuff. So it's a dream come true, and I love Aror, and I'm glad he's my support, you know, for this journey.
All right, well, again, congratulations. You want to give any shout-outs?
Oh, of course. I mean, shout-outs to my team first and foremost. You guys were incredible. Shout-out to all the fans there. Shout-out to all the sponsors for believing in a small brand. And shout out to you guys for a good cast. So
We'll see. We're going to see Team Eager
Can't
in
believe it.
Worlds. Both the Xbox team and the PC team going to be really exciting. And even if you can't make it to Worlds, which you should, because Zapman's going to be there as a player for the first time ever, make sure that you guys do that digital loot pack that Rain Day was talking about. It's got all the 6 skins and all that kind of good stuff. So that's about it for us today. Exciting day, right,
Oh
Zap?
my God. Yeah, I'm going to celebrate tonight.
Yeah, everyone, you and Obey, I'm sure, are going to be celebrating tonight with some long drinks of water.
Some water.
Thank you guys so much for joining us. And this is only day 1. I mean, this is Wednesday, you guys. We still got Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday filled with awesome Super Regionals action. So make sure you join us again here 1 o'clock again tomorrow here on hi-rez TV. Thank you for joining us.